Hi everyone, welcome once again to Riding Tiger with Arijit Bhattacharya, and we have an amazing guest today. Before I introduce Dr. Faith to all of you, let me do a little bit of introduction about Riding Tiger. Well, in social media, a lot many of you are asking, what's the concept about Riding Tiger? And definitely, a lot many of you are reading about it, commenting in the social media channel, and I'm blessed that you guys are all commenting and encouraging all our speakers and definitely encouraging that entire concept. Well, the concept is pretty simple. When we start our own venture, whether it's a career or as an entrepreneur, sometimes as a professional, we usually nourish our business as a cow. When it's a cow, we feed it with milk with the intention that one day it will grow big and you have an option to riding on it with pride. But when you start riding a tiger, it's basically a total risk that people usually take. People who are risk takers, they can't then stop. Because if you stop, the tiger will eat you. So you need to keep feeding your tiger with meat, and that meat is money. Getting meat is not easy, just like the same, getting money is not easy. And then there is a science of feeding the business. If you overfeed it, it becomes really, really fatty. So it can't run faster. If you don't feed it properly, it is always hungry. So it might happen that one day it will stop and it try to kill you. That always happens in business. So it's basically a concept of running your venture with a very beautiful concept going on into your neuron, which is a risk-taking appetite. But with that appetite, let me welcome Dr. Faith to Riding Tiger with Arijit. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much from here, Nigeria, Africa. I'm so happy to be part of this show and the lovely concept, Riding Tiger. I listened keenly as you explained how it come about and the vision around it. Amazing. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me join you.
Pleasure is all mine. For the audience, Dr. Faith is doing amazing, cool works, definitely from the land of Africa. So if you guys don't know about Africa, Africa is rich with mineral and all the natural resources that you can think of. For centuries, people usually used to travel there and used to probably grab those kind of opportunities. But now is the time for Africa to come up with their own manufacturing unit, with their own structure, with their own strength, with education, knowledge, and definitely with all those natural resources that they have. Last week, I was interviewing another amazing guys who is actually trying to help lot many people in the land of Africa so that the agricultural people, the farmers can get definitely lot many of help. And they have been doing things with the same natural resource with agriculture. But for the audience, Dr. Faith, if you can kindly introduce yourself, what you do, what is your strength, and a little bit about your life journey, please.
Thank you so much, Arijit, for that introduction about Africa and the light that you are shining to Africa and the platform that you've given us to have our voice heard, to the whole world. So as you rightly mentioned, my name is Faith Nwaobia. I'm a social entrepreneur, social analyst. I'm a community builder. I'm a youth inclusion strategist, impact leader, and mentor. I love to mentor young people. So I'm also a Pan-Africanist. I love Africa so much. So when you were describing Africa, I was so keen to hear more and more of you mentioning Africa. Africa is a lovely place, enterprising people, resourceful people, and committed. So I'm a Pan-Africanist, and on the commercial professional background, I'm a digital selling and B2B growth strategist. So I help organizations to leveraging the LinkedIn platform to support them in building visibility and also to build thought leadership in their space. That's on the commercial space. Then I lead a youth-focused social enterprise, Youth Up Global, as the founder and the president, right? So talking about my journey, I would say that my journey towards self-discovery is rooted in vision, courage, and determination. That is what I always use to start stories around my journey. It is rooted in vision, courage, and determination. It's a very humble beginning, right? Starting from when I was even a classroom teacher, earning less than $50 monthly. That was a salary I was earning even as a teacher, a graduate teacher. Now, while I was earning that salary, I continued job hunting, looking out for better opportunity. So I job hunted for 6 years before I later got employment with Union Bank of Nigeria, the commercial bank here in Nigeria, after 6 years of job hunting. So that is me experiencing unemployment firsthand, having the flair, having the feel of youth unemployment. At my prime, I was job hunting for 6 good years. So it got to me that truly what was happening to me was happening to millions of other young people in Nigeria and across Africa. So after I had worked in Union Bank for a couple of years, so for a broader career path, I left the banking industry after completing my master's degree and subsequently my PhD research in economics, and went back to build on my teaching skills again, to see how I could do a little give back somewhat, in the teaching field, because my background has always been teaching right from the beginning. So I went in to take up an instructor role as a Cambridge Economics Instructor. I also had to volunteer. Like I told you, it was about giving back at that time, looking out for how I would be able to build my skills to land to better opportunities. So I also volunteered to lecture in one university. And then before I finally landed myself here on LinkedIn, I normally use LinkedIn as where I landed myself, that opened a whole lot of other opportunities, because of course I wouldn't be discussing with you and having this opportunity to be on this platform if not for LinkedIn and the fact that we are building a global network leveraging the platform. So for me, LinkedIn, through that, I got an opportunity to work with Marleq, an international career coaching firm. So in 2020, at the wake of COVID-19, it was coming gradually to our own side here in Africa and Nigeria. So there was a drive in me, the drive of creating a single platform that will connect and empower youth, particularly people that are in the developing countries within me, because I have seen the weight of unemployment. So the key thing was, how will I build a single platform that will connect and empower youth to fight unemployment among young people? That was what led me to starting Youth Up Global. So Youth Up Global is a youth-based social enterprise in the business of developing human capital, creating and connecting social impactful opportunities, and building empowerment platforms that would help young people to come out of their current state and give them a future and position them to become their best versions. So that is the whole thing around Youth Up Global. So while doing that, we are also collaborating with other organizations that are youth-friendly, to deliver. And then we looked at the SDGs and looked at the Agenda 2030 and looked at the Agenda of Africa 2063 side by side, and we saw that there is need for us to do a whole lot of youth inclusion in this whole, in our agenda. If we must achieve our agenda and our mission, whether for United Nations or whether for African Union, we needed to do more of youth inclusion and engagement. So Youth Up Global is driving that, and that is what led me to start that movement, start it as an organization, and today I'm happy that we are scaling. So as a social impact leader, I'm leading a team of other social entrepreneurs within the affairs of Youth Up Global. So there are also other social entrepreneurs that I'm also mentoring and coaching to also bring them to solving social issues that affect young people within our ecosystem. So I'm leading other social entrepreneurs and also advocates, and also let them understand the power of collaboration and partnership in the age we are in. Now, this is not the age where you talk of competition, rather you do more of collaboration. So to open their understanding to absorb or to embrace collaboration. So for me, also on the social analyst angle, I'm so interested in anything that has to do with youth issues, whether it is unemployment, because my background in economics is labor economics. So I'm interested in anything that has to do with labor economics, economics of education, solving developmental issues, how we can tackle unemployment, underemployment, looking at various models that we could deploy. And for me, I looked at apprenticeship programs as very viable to address skill gap. So that's what we are currently working on as a scaling model, which is what we call UTDIA. UTDIA is what we started 2 years ago, working within a group of young people. We had them go through our apprenticeship program, put them in various organizations. As they were working, they were upskilling, they were gaining new skills in tech and digital skills, creative and artistic skills, and leadership skills too. So as they were passing through that program, we worked that over time they've become masters at their various fields, and then we will encourage organizations to also give them some stipend while they were going through the apprenticeship program. So when I monitored this program over the time, and I saw that it is something that is also actually sustainable and scalable. So that is why after 2 years, today we are now scaling it to become a full-fledged platform that will run on app, that will be able to connect a lot of other young people in order to place them in various apprenticeship programs globally, to be able to do on-the-job actual training, relevant industry relevant skills, so that they can acquire industry relevant skills, industry relevant, not just theory, but let them go out there, have their hands there practically as they work with various organizations. So this is what I've been doing over the years. And then I'm so keen about anything around economics of youth. I coined a word called youth economics. Youth economics is me saying youth, economics of youth. How do we bring in young people? Because I love youth inclusion. How do we bring young people to be involved in decision making? Because I discovered that youth is a very critical time. And if you miss it, which is the prime age, which is the most productive age of any population. So if you miss to include your youth in the agenda, in any goal, in any mission you have, you've mixed the most important people. So that is why we are advocating through different programs. But even as we're advocating, we are ensuring that those young people that we're advocating for are empowered to be able to carry out those activities when given those responsibilities. And one way to make it happen is tackle unemployment, engage young people, give them opportunity to serve. These are the things we are working and we are delivering through the Youth Hub Global with various platforms. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. When you're talking about youth and definitely giving them a chance to start their career, this is one of the noble things that people can think of starting off with. Probably I have been listening and being part of lot many different other platforms. In fact, we have our own platform wherein we help lot many startups to grow, lot many youngsters to learn and educate themselves and uplift themselves. So we, for the audience, I run India's one of the oldest game development studio called Virtual Infocom. So you can check it on www.virtualinfocom.com. Since 1998, we have been taking youth, we have been taking people, definitely, and we have been training people globally, worldwide. After that, what we did, we created a platform called Entrepreneur Face. If you go there, you will see a lot many different mentors from various different parts of the world who is giving mentoring and guidance to the youth to start their venture, and we help them to create their pitch deck. And eventually, we created a platform called CoInnovate Ventures, which is an accelerator, and it has got its own fund to give support to the young stars. So after Entrepreneur Phase, when you are good with your pitch deck, good with your business structure, you then join the acceleration program for your growth, for your business scale up. While doing all these things, I have been checking the things that's happening in Africa. It's amazing. For all the audience who will be listening to this, this is one of the best time you should explore Africa, whether it's South Africa, whether it's the western part, or whether it's, if you call Africa as a whole, it has got
Africa is Africa.
different countries. It's a rich culture. Its people have all those elements which you can think of and probably overpowered if you look at Africans.
And not just to cut you in. while you're discussing Africa and why people should be interested in Africa is that Africa is today the largest when it comes to young population, is a youth continent.
Yep.
Africa is today the biggest, youngest continent you can think of. That means this is where you will see able-bodied, young, vibrant, agile, vigorous, young people that are ready to go out there to unleash their potential. So why will anybody want to turn a blind eye to such a wonderful opportunity that Africa presents? Because for me, like I said, Africa is the next big thing that will happen to the world. And that's what we're all waiting for, to see that as we wait, we're also building, supporting, giving all our hands to see that we lift these ones and ensure that Africa gets to its rightful position when it comes to using the materials or resources, human capital that they have, endowed to be able to jumpstart the development wheels of Africa. Thank you very much.
True. And for all the other audience, probably usually I run a very large global audience pool and definitely a large platform. And we have our own summit, which we call as World Leaders Summit. So last year we did with 95 countries in one common platform, and people around the world, they came and they interacted, they handshaked with each other. There were many business deals that actually happened in 10 days summit that we did online. Due to COVID, we couldn't do it definitely for the last 2 years on an offline basis. But this year, we did an investor roundtable in Dubai with one of our partners, definitely. And it was a massive, excellent roundtable with all those investors and startups who actually interacted with each other, communicated with each other, handshaked with each other, started growing and thinking of growing. Things are happening. And this year, we have an intention to do World Leader Summit, probably in one part of Africa. We have been talking to one of the ministry very, very closely. So hopefully we will be
clap
there.
Into it, clap into it, clap into it, clap into it. I love the sound of that. So, I can't wait.
So definitely we will probably do 2 different kind of event altogether. In October, we will do an offline one. In December, we'll do again the online one. Sure. Many people who can't travel, they will be joining in online. People who can travel, they will join the offline one. And definitely, I wish that these kind of energy flows into the space. But talking about that, I have a couple of small things to ask to you, Dr. Faith. So when we talk about mentoring, when we talk about youth, when we talk about startups, when you talk about education, we usually mentor people on the basis of our own good heart. And the question to you is, when you choose your mentee, what are the kind of qualities that you usually want to look at your mentees before you tell them, okay, let me guide you, let me mentor you?
First thing that you look out for, because I'm a teacher, I've been teaching, so it helps me in the journey of mentoring, because it's actually majorly what you do even as a teacher. So one thing that you would always look out for when you want to sign up a mentee is that willingness to learn, that open mind that you need to see. Someone that is not closed, that doesn't have a closed mind. Some people tend to already have an opinion of something. So it becomes, you need to do a lot of work to let them relearn, unlearn, and relearn, then they have to learn again. So a process. So, but if you see someone that is open-minded, because I'm interested in attitude, not just your skill. So if you say you want to, I have at the moment in YouTube Global, we have people currently going through our utility mentorship program, utility apprenticeship mentorship program, about 35 young people going through our mentorship program, assigned to various mentors within our ecosystem, and they are passing through different trainings, whether it's in content writing, in graphics, in voiceover, in digital, in different skills at the moment. So what I do during selection is always to find out why do you want to be mentored? Because first person, you need to ask somebody, why do you want to be mentored? Is it not something you can just read? Like, is it not something you can just go to online and search and find the answer? Why do you want to be mentored? So that's when you will hear that answer that tells you, I want guidance. I want them because internet cannot guide you. That's one thing that internet will give you an information, but you need guidance. You need someone that would hold your hand, right, as you move, so that you don't repeat mistakes. The reason why I'm mentoring you is that you don't repeat the same mistakes that I've made in trying to grow. So I try to let you know that these are avoidable mistakes. There are some unavoidable mistakes you will make as an entrepreneur in the journey, but then there are avoidable mistakes that you do because you are doing trial and error. But then if you have a mentor, you will have boycotted the problem, the area of trial and error, because now you would do things that are already calculated, that are known. So I want to see someone that is willing to learn, that is open-minded, right? Attitude is very key. That also is willing to communicate. I want someone that can communicate with me, like communication and time management. These are things that I will also help them to understand. If I say, okay, we have agreed to meet so time. If I'm available, you need to be available. And if you cannot be available, you have to let me know that you're not. So accountability is very, very important, and being responsible, in what you're doing. But the most important thing, other things you can learn in the journey, is, are you willing to learn? That is the most important thing. How hungry are you to want to learn and grow? Growth mindset is key in this journey. So I want to look out for whether you have that growth mindset, whether you're interested to learn, whether you're interested to improve. And once I see that spark of light in you, we can make it boom, with time. Just a matter of time, you gain other skills, but be hungry and be willing to learn new things. Yes.
Super cool. So the last question to you would be, when we usually look at youth, sometimes they need guidance, they need advisors. And definitely when we talk about advising any kind of youth, sometimes there is a very silly thing that comes in between, which we call as probably a gap of mindset. Some people call it as a generation gap. Some people call it as, these people are young enough, but sometimes the old guys don't want to probably handshake with them the way they want things. And the opposite side, the youth sometimes can't take maybe the older guys as their guide or mentor, and sometimes the clash usually starts. So when you think of such kind of clash, it's very common in the entire world that there will be a communication gap. So how do you usually address such kind of communication gap? What is your success mantra?
The thing is that it's something that is there. It happens. You will always see it. But I think it happens, but it happens more when you start the journey. And if you don't define certain things, if you don't get certain things right at the beginning. Some people try to build. So when you are doing a mentor-mentee relationship, it's not a master-servant relationship. That's the problem a lot of people make. So once you start with the master-servant relationship in a mentoring section, you've killed the flow. So because in most cases, you are the older person in most cases, and your mentee is the younger. So if you come with the attitude of, hey, I'm the boss, and you are the junior, sometimes you have to, you get that pushback, lots more if you were a little bit humble and attentive and come down to their level. It doesn't mean that there are no values, that you're also going to hold your values in high esteem. There are certain values you can't compromise. Respect, mutual respect must be there. So I think what happens is that whatever you would want to, how you want to be treated, treat them the same way. This whole thing about respect, because I see what creates that gap mostly is, I'm the one that you should respect. I should not respect you because I'm your mentor, so you should respect me. So you are that culture of entitlement. Let me use that word. That culture of entitlement. I'm entitled to this. You are my mentee. You are supposed to be answerable to me. There are generations, especially the ones you've mentioned, of course, the Gen Z or whatever we call them. these guys may not have that patience to say, I may not need this. I just don't want this. And then you've lost that, because this is a young person that is also hungry, but for one thing or the other, he's hungry to learn, but for one thing that you could have managed, which is coming down to meet them where they are. You need to be extremely humble. You need to exhibit humility, right? Mutual respect. Treat them as you want them to treat you, right? Find out how they want to be addressed. It's very important. Communication is key. That's why when you could be having a mentee that is much vast in other areas of life than you in the area you are mentoring them. I could be mentoring, for instance, in our section, in our current utility apprenticeship mentoring program that we're having now. There are some mentors that are some mentees that are skilled in other areas. Let's say they are in web, they have web design skills, but they want to learn US UI properly, and we assign them to a mentor to guide them in US UI, right? It doesn't mean that they are coming without anything. So if you are treating them, if you now have this master and servant relationship mindset, you are going to kill and ruin the whole relationship. So what I say is, come without that feel of entitlement, come with the mindset of, okay, we are in this to support ourselves. This is about helping others rise by lifting them. It is not you being the boss. It's not a boss employee relationship. It's not a master servant relationship. It's just people that are helping, the other person there to understand more better about the career path they've chosen or a particular skill that they want to, get good at. So I think that is what happens. So how you start the journey matters a lot. If you start with the distance, you already created it. If you want to start with the master servant, there is already a distance. It's a matter of time for you to see it exhibiting in communication, in feedback, and all that. So you need to be humble, in approach, and you need to be simple, and you need to have an open door policy, meaning you can be accessible. Not that somebody wants to access you, wants to first write a letter, and I need to write a letter to you. It has to be formally through email. It has to be, there are certain things you need to just relax. You need to bring in a little informal, around it, even though everything needs to be structured anyways. But this is what I think creates this generational gap or this communication gap that we see in mentoring sections. Yeah.
Super. Faith, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell our audience that Dr. Faith has been invited to World Leader Summit in our mega summit in December. So definitely we'll be more interacting with him. And definitely, if we have that honor and pleasure, we'll be more than happy to have Dr. Faith as a mentor into our accelerator on the board as well. So keep blessing us, keep loving us, and let's be in touch. Let's grow the land of opportunity. Let's handshake with the youth, which is there in 54 different countries in Africa. Let's grow together for humanity, peace, and definitely for the betterment of the world. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting and connecting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you kindly. Thank you.